Okay, so today's video, basically, I got a couple of upgrades from Legare CSM. The original Legare 47, when it came with its usual mast with its heel spring. The only thing that I found a little bit irritating, and I think a lot of people upgrade, is that you'll notice that on this one here, okay, none of the holes have any slits. So basically you're putting it in and you have to cut to take it out because you can't, you know, the cone can't come through, or you can't detach it to put it back on the cone. So what I did is I ended up contacting Legare CSM. Very, very similar, okay, so it's got still the three triangles, but each triangle, I'm not sure if you can see it, but each triangle basically has a little slot, okay, so that I can put the thread through and I can remove the thread as well. The heel spring looks slightly different. It's nice and brass. Okay, so I'm happy about that. And you've got, I guess, a little guide, I guess, for the thread to go through, which is kind of cool. So we're going to put that on. The other little upgrade I made was to have basically the yarn carrier. So the yarn carrier is still attached. We haven't removed that one yet. This one basically is pretty similar in terms of a yarn carrier. But it's a slotted yarn carrier. So again, I can remove it. I don't have to cut anything. I can remove it, change threads much more easily. So we're going to put that together, and then I'm going to try them out and see how I like them. Okay? So my hubby is here to give me the support, and I, again, as usual, will supervise.
Alrighty. Headless hubby here, with a head this time. Okay, so we're putting the
Speak from the belly.
Speak from the belly. Okay. All right. So I have just basically putting the shaft back on. I'm going to use a man screwdriver this time, not this. We're not sure what that's for. But anyways.
Is that the flat? That's the flathead.
Standard gear. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So basically, I just put this into the
hole
socket and tighten it up.
I can be technical too.
I see that. And then basically this goes on. Center it and tighten up the standard screw at the back of it.
Yes, Cisco. It's all right.
There you have it.
Perfect. Okay, yarn carrier.
Yarn carrier. Okay, well, you're going to want to bring it to the back so they can see what's going on back here.
Oh, okay.
Well, I suppose I could turn it. All right.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay. So for the yarn carrier, basically with this, we have two screws, and because there's a slot holding it, basically just going to loosen this off a bit so it slides out. Be careful not to catch any hooks in the process. Windows notification of some sort. So basically, just assemble the two halves. This allows you to adjust the clearance by shifting it in and out.
Okay, so hold on, you got a black thing against the black t-shirt.
But for now, we're going to pull it all the way back. I'm just going to snug the screw slightly, just enough to hold it. Since there's paint on there, it'll dig into the paint a bit.
Hold on, so let me just show them because it's far away. Okay, so basically he's just kind of snugged it up for now against there, so that entered into the little hole here. Okay.
Alrighty. We have this one. It had to be custom made since there's larger screws on this machine for whatever reason. And so now we just loosen the screws up a bit more. It's a bit thicker than the original.
Oh, phew.
There we
I
go.
thought it wasn't going to fit. Okay.
Alright. So the bottom of your slot, as you know, is going to be the same way as you would line the hole up on the existing one.
So you want to basically, when you look at it and you've got like your latches are down, you've got your hook, you know that the thread comes, you know, through about here basically. So you want to line up the hole accordingly so that as the thread comes out and that latch basically comes up, it's going to catch the thread and keep going. If you have a bunch of drop stitches, chances are this is not at the right height for you. You do also want it close enough that the needles are close, not touching.
We'll adjust that after.
Okay.
So I'm leaving it all the way down in this instance and tighten the 2 screws up to clamp it to the machine.
Okay.
There we go. That's secure.
Okay, should I advance the camera so that you can see better?
And then at this point, we will adjust the clearance.
Okay, so let me just
All right, there we go. I just kind of adjusting it so it's easier to see in the camera. So basically, I just loosen it back off again. I bring it up so that there's a couple of millimeters worth of clearance, which works out to about 3/8 of an inch.
Make sure that this is straight because this is not straight. There we go. Okay.
Okay, supervisor.
Well, no, it's just that it's
And there we go.
It's off to the side. That's not going to be helpful. It needs to be straight up.
And snug it up.
Okay, so if we go around slowly, will it hit anything? Oh, it looks like it's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll have to try it with some
It might
yarn.
need to be a bit closer.
I'll have to try it with some yarn here. Let's try it. 'Cause I'm not sure if it's too high. So we put it through this one here. And of course it's not going to be perfect.
Got a retaining wire, you're going to have to...
Oh, do I have to hook it around there?
Well, no. Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You
Oh,
hook it
cool.
first or whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to hold it. It's not going to obviously catch properly because there's no sock bonnet here, but let's just take a look as to, oh yes, the slotted thing. Cool.
All right.
Okay. All right, so let's try and see if it's going to, no, I'm going the other way. Ah, no. Okay, hold on. No, it's too far. It's not catching.
Okay.
Okay, so it's too far. So we will, hold on. Back.
No, you're not. You're doubling on.
Hold on here. Let's undo that. And let's try it again. Okay.
All right. So
And I think it might also be possibly too high. I think it's also too high. Because when it comes through...
This is low as it's going.
Oh. Okay, so when you're going towards to look, just be careful of the mast there so that you don't have a nice mark on your forehead like I just did. Okay. This doesn't go any lower, the whole thing?
It's as low as it goes.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so loosen it up enough so that the screw comes out of the paint.
You're touching something.
So I bring it in so it has 1 millimeter clearance. Well, I guess it's got to be more than 1 millimeter. 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, that's 2 millimeters. Sorry, 1/8 of an inch.
Okay, let's try it. Be careful. Okay.
When the latches are open, this is high enough that it will actually catch the open latch and push
Okay,
it
so
down.
let's try. Hold on.
So this might be a bit higher than you're used to, but it seems to work.
So we will try it that way. It looks like it's close enough. That doesn't seem to be the issue. The issue basically is whether or not it's going to get caught when I actually put a sock bonnet on it. Okay. So another upgrade we decided to do for the for my CSM basically was to get a magnetic row counter. I just bought one. Somebody nearby showed me theirs, their CSM, and what they did, and I bought the same row count that they had. So because it's magnetic, we've got to be careful of magnetizing the needles. So you don't want the magnet near the needles, obviously. My husband explained that over time it can kind of creep up and eventually potentially magnetize the needles. So we want to be careful of that because that can cause a lot of issues. So not being the techie person in the family, my husband's going to be putting it together. Cisco is playing right now with the ball, so he may cause a little bit of distraction as well. Don't be surprised. Okay? Let's get started. So continuing on with the headless hubby thing, okay?
All right. So since my wife neglected to show you the counter she was referring to, this is the display for it. On that, it's actually designed as a panel mount, but we're going to modify slightly to mount it on a bracket. And of course, this is the Hall Effects probe, which will pick up the magnet. So what we were looking for was something that could be removed easily for transporting the table to a crank-in, as it's called.
I didn't name it.
So we're looking for something that could be removed, something that's self-contained, as it were, and didn't take up a lot of real estate and was easily adjusted if need be. So what we decided on was using an L bracket. This is basically something from Home Depot. You use it for putting up shelves or mounting or reinforcing if you're building a bookshelf. Here again is another little bracket used for reinforcing. You can pick this up at Home Depot. You'll find that I buy a lot of stuff at Home Depot for projects. This is a stainless steel machine screw. Kind of hard to tell, but it actually has a taper. You don't have to go with a taper, but the taper is handy. It's a Phillips head screwdriver for it.
The cross.
Phillips. If you'll notice inside the bracket, the hole is actually countersunk to allow for wood screws, which typically have a taper, but you can get a machine screw that does the same. For mounting and removal, this is part of, I'm not sure, it's kind of a butterfly anchor. It's designed for drywall. What you do is you put the wing together. Whoop. You pinch it, and you can put it through the hole in the drywall, and then it springs out behind it. And when you tighten the screw up, actually it would be in this way. When you tighten the screw up, it pulls against the drywall and secures your picture frame or whatever you were mounting on the drywall with it. This is kind of a larger one. There's smaller ones. This is kind of a
And why are we using
a
that?
medium or a large one. Well, it'll become apparent when we go to
Okay,
install.
all right. There's still a few mysteries in life. I will try and extend this one.
All right, there we go. Now, of course, this is the bracket that comes for your Hall effect sensor. So really all you're doing is you're going to take the screw. You're going to use 2 nuts, and there's a reason behind that. It's become apparent. So I put it through, then I put it through the bracket, and we will put the bracket.
Okay, so you've got one hole.
To
You want
the
to
right.
show it from the other side as well? Yeah.
It depends. If you need more reach, you can put it through this hole.
Okay.
In test fitting, I didn't need the reach, so I put it in that.
Okay. I'll get it.
That's the joys of having holes in the table you're working on. Things fall through nicely, whether you want them to or not. So I put the nut on the back. I'm not going to tighten it up too much because the hole in this bracket is very close to the major diameter of the thread. We will kind of thread it on until it gets up to the nut, at which point we will have to tighten the nut.
And this is just a fancy screwdriver? It's just a regular screwdriver?
Just a, well,
But it sounds like a torque wrench.
it's a ratcheting screwdriver.
Ratcheting screwdriver, okay. Do you need that, or could they just use a regular one?
Well, they can use a regular one too.
Okay.
Just happened to be what I had.
Fancy.
Fancy. Alright. So tightening it up, it'll try and rotate your second one. That lets you know that you're about where you need to be. I'll adjust. Kind of hard to see with metal and strong lighting, but this is kind of the way it's going together.
Okay, and you're attaching it to the table?
So that kind of shows you it's threaded to the back. And then to hold on to the secondary bracket, which by the way is going to hold the display.
Okay, so you put one washer?
And then we put on the second nut, and then use a 3/8 wrench to tighten it up. Now you might find it still a bit loose on the Hall effects bracket, so what you can do is kind of back this off a bit, get your wrench in behind, and
don't do that.
And you give it the drop test.
I'm an expert at that. See that? There's a knot.
And snug up the nut on the inside. Bring your bracket back out again. If you need to, you can use pliers to grip it and rotate it into the position that you want. And then tighten up the back nut.
Don't break it.
You'd be breaking a nail first. There.
Alright, cool. Alright, what's the next step?
Okay. So to make life easier, you might want to mount it now. So I have a 4-inch, just a regular screw. This is a number 8. So basically, take the butterfly. Now, you'll kind of have to check to see how it fits where the hole is compared to your machine. If that looks too close, then it's going to be interfered with the machine coming around, as you can see. Then you're going to have to go to the back hole. You can also locate your machine in a different location if needed to give yourself the clearance you're going to require. So basically, just put the screw through, start your 3/32 by 4-inch. You can see the butterfly wings are like that. They fold up, which is what you want. Because what you're going to do is you're going to drop it through the hole You heard it click. Now you can hold it up against the bottom of your table and run the threads down.
Okay.
When you get pretty much to the bottom, you can take your screwdriver and snug it up a bit.
You want it really tight, or you're going to snug it up in the
Yeah,
final later?
Just needs to be snug.
Okay.
Just to hold it.
Okay.
You're not going to be moving it or reefing on it.
True.
It's just going to hold itself.
And the wife has to be able to undo this later on.
This is true.
Alright,
So at this point, you can mount this.
I was wondering what those rings were for that came with the...
Take the ring off, put it on.
Oh, okay.
Screw
Okay,
that
cool. Alright.
And then just finger tight to hold it. Rotate your
Is it at the same
machine.
level?
And really,
Yeah.
for your height, you can adjust that.
Now, depending on the machine, are there different sizes of those brackets, those shelving brackets that you bought? Do you want it lower or something like that?
Much larger. Well, it'll raise it if you want to use a smaller one. And then basically you just adjust this so that you've got about 1/4 inch on it.
Okay, so if I turn the crank, alright, I'm going to do it slowly to make sure that there's no chance of hitting anything. Okay, so it looks good. Okay. Alright, so how do we attach the wires to the box?
Okay, well first off, we're going to change this bracket. It's pointed the wrong way, and we're also going to use
What is that?
the number 6 screw
Okay.
and nut
Okay.
to put it onto this bracket.
Oh, okay.
So this just has 2 little screws at the back.
And it doesn't do any damage to to remove that?
No,
Okay.
it's just a screw holding it onto the plastic casing.
Okay.
So basically I'm just going to take it, I'm going to turn it around.
Oh, okay.
Now, something you can do if you want to change your angle is you can bend this a little bit on a 45, and that'll allow you to angle your display up so you can see it.
Okay.
So it tilts your display,
Oh, okay.
right? Because it's on a pivot, you can rotate wherever you're sitting.
I don't know that I want it too close though, because at some point I'm going to, you're always checking your needles and stuff. I don't want to keep hitting this. So.
When it's on the bracket, it'll be sitting back a little bit further.
Okay.
Or you can leave it straight and just tilt it.
Yeah, that might be easier. Yeah, because I will be facing more like this way. So let's try that. And if we don't like it, then we'll have to adjust as time goes on. It's kind of a learning experience. He's putting it together. We're going to see how we like it, and then I call him back, and he uses his engineering mind and solves the problems that I always develop.
Develop or create?
Probably both.
I just had to ask.
You already knew the answer to that.
Yes, I did. All right, so the fun part is, because we put the Hall effect sensor on first, of course it's going to be in the way, but this was to demonstrate how it goes on without everything being in the road.
Okay, so we'll put that back on after we finish
take it off for now.
Okay.
Now, if you're really happy with the setup, you can always cut this wire shorter. I'm not doing that, but it's always an option for later on. The fun part is fixing this screw. Since it's sitting on the table, it's easier to manipulate 2 things instead of everything.
Okay.
Now the fun part is getting that screw. So what I might need is a longer screwdriver.
Could you not use like a little wrench underneath for the washer instead?
That'll hold it. But you have to be able to hold the screw at the top too, right? But we will see.
Does it have to be super tight anyways though? Because I'm not really touching it or moving it.
Well, enough so that it stays in place.
Okay, cool.
Alright. So now it's probably easier to put your wiring on.
Okay, any chance of electrocution?
No.
Good.
A Hall effects counter generates millivolts.
Well, it does not take much voltage to stop the heart, but
yeah, but it needs some current behind it.
But yes, this is true. This is true.
So we'll put the Hall effects back on just to.
What's the Hall effects? Is that the orange thing or is that the washer
Sensor.
thing? Oh, it's the sensor. Okay.
Hall effects sensor.
Okay, such fancy names.
So
Okay.
the counter is on the right. They say it doesn't matter which wire is on which terminal. So.
Is it already pulled away, or do you have to pull it away?
We'll loosen it up.
Okay. And the instructions that came with it indicate which one. Did you already read them, or do you need to see them?
Well, it says positive and negative, but there is no red and black on your wiring.
Oh.
So, it doesn't say.
Okay.
And I hope you have the battery for this, right?
Sorry?
You have the battery for this already?
What do we need? What kind of battery?
It says an ordinary AA.
Oh, we probably have something like that upstairs. I will go check. I'll put that here in case you need it.
Oh, looks like there's one in it.
Oh! Okay, that's special. Yeah, because it did turn on when I got it out of the box, yeah.
Okay.
That's true. It did work. How long it'll work, I have no idea, but please don't break it.
Well,
it's got little feet underneath, so I think, yeah.
there we go. Alright. So.
So you're just putting the wire underneath and then tightening up the screw, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a clamp.
Is there a hole to put it under? Or? Oh, okay, I see. Alright.
A little clamp.
Okay, yeah. Alright. Cool. Okay.
So there we have it.
And maybe closer to the camera there so they can see. There we go. Alright, good stuff.
Right. So, basically, just slide that in.
It just sits there?
Check to see your holes lined up.
Oh, okay.
And then basically the fun part.
Reattach your screw. I'm guessing a magnetic screwdriver or something like that would be a lot easier to use than your regular. That's one thing I've noticed that with the CSM is that having little tools is quite helpful because you've got some very little spaces to get into. So,
well, if you want to have a magnetic screwdriver, take your magnet and put it on there.
Okay. Oh. There you go. Oh, cool. Okay.
There, one magnetic screwdriver.
Okay. We don't have a demagnetizer, so.
Well, if you leave it on there, it'll magnetize it. Then once you get a couple of threads started, you can take it back off again, and you're good to go.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Little trick for you.
Alrighty.
All right. So,
Okay.
it looks like the display might end up being a little too close.
It clears. It does clear, but
not too fussy with how close the magnet is.
Because usually people will have this like on the pole or a post or something like that. I've seen that. Okay, but we don't need it that close. Yeah, that's way too close. It's like a couple of millimeters. I've seen people have this further away. I wonder how far away you can have it and still have it accurate.
Now that screw's a little tight, so I can't rotate it.
Which one?
For your display. So,
okay, cool. Yeah, that looks good.
Now,
okay.
You put it at 90 degrees.
Yeah, actually, I see that. Yeah, but this is way too close. Way too close.
Yeah,
That's got to be pulled back.
That should work.
Okay, well, I'll try it.
So we'll tighten this down a little bit more. Not overly tighten because you will damage the butterfly underneath. Set your height so that by the Hall effects you see it barely.
There is space between. There's definitely space between. So, but again, I would think it should be able to go for a little bit further back and have more space.
So now, if you want to rotate your display, you just loosen that slightly. And you got a little bit of adjustment in there.
Oh, okay.
Tilt up.
All right, I like that. Okay. I still think this needs to be pulled back a little bit. Do you think it's too close? No?
No, that's fine.
All right.
All it's got to do is make sure it clears
Okay,
it
so
all the way
let's turn
back.
it on. Which one is the on button? Because, of course, I'm going to have to probably color this in. It says it, but I can't see it. Because one says reset and one is on, so I'm going to just push one.
The one that says on would work, would it not?
Another one's turning on, of course. Oh, there we go. Alright, so there. So if I go 1. Okay, cool. Alright, it's catching it. And then if I want to reset it, and then it resets. And if I want to turn it off, I'm assuming I press and it turns off. Okay, beautiful. Love it.
There you go.
Thank you.
And then to remove it, basically.
No, we don't want to remove it.
Well, sooner or later you will.
Okay,
What you do is you back the screw off, reach under, squeeze your butterfly together so that it
okay, perfect.
pops out through the hole.
All right.
And you're away to the races.
Okay.
Now you might want to do something to
we're going to have to tie that up, maybe with some Velcro or something.
corral this a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Some Velcro, some duct tape.
Well, duct tape.
Red green, I'd love it.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know.
If you're old enough to know who Red Green is.
Our audience might be old enough to remember Red Green, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, you'll want to tie that up a little bit so that you have strain relief.
Okay.
So that it's not trying to pull the wires
Yeah,
off
and not trying to bend this or anything. Okay, cool.
But you've got a hole right here, so if you use a zip tie, you can zip tie this up as a bundle. Make sure there's no tension on the wire.
Okay.
And you're good to go.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, now it's for me to try it all out and see if everything works and is tickety-boo. All right, guys. Let me change the camera and then we'll start playing around with it. All right, so let's check her out. Okay. I'm not going to engage the heel spring in this case here. I just literally want to try and practice a gauge swatch. Okay. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so let's put that through here. Okay, I'm going to go through here. I'm assuming, if I'm not doing this right, please somebody tell me in the comments below here. Let's see here. All right. Am I doing that? That does not look right to me somehow. No. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess it goes through like that. Okay. All right, so then I'm going to put it through my yarn carrier. It's a little hook. Hold on, I keep doing this backwards. There's a little hook on the back there that I have to hook it through. Okay, then I'm going to put it through the yarn carrier where I want it, and I want it to start right here. Okay, so let's pull that back a little bit. I'm going to put it on my little chip clip. All right, there we go. Put that inside. I'm going to put my dumbbell on, okay, to start off the waist yarn. Again, you guys can put your belt buckle on right away if you wish. I find that the dumbbell works really, really well. But there comes a point where obviously it gets too low. And I've got to remove the dumbbell and obviously add on the belt buckle there, okay? All right, so let's see whether this is going to work. All right. Cool, let's make sure everything catches for our waist yarn. All right, let's see, is everything catching okay? I'm just gonna hook on the rest. Okay, now again, if you recall, this is my 72 cylinder sock. I'm using a 54 cylinder again to try these practice swatches that I'd like to make. And so basically I just usually do, hold on a sec here. 2 skip 1 kind of thing. All right, so let me just finish going around here and I'll come back. Okay, so let's finish doing the rest of the round here. Make sure everything is getting picked up. There's nothing dropped. Let's see here. I think everything is looking... This one did not get picked up. Okay, so let's see if that... If we can somehow hook that on. I don't know if it'll actually catch the next one around, but we can always pray that it does somehow. Okay, and if not, there we go. We'll see whether or not it catches the next time around. It looks like everything has caught so far, okay? But again, it dropped one loop, as you can see here, which is a little bit of a pain. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay. Okay. So let's turn on the magnetic counter and see whether or not it's going to work. I usually, as I said, typically start at 3 o'clock. I'm just going to do a bunch of waist yarn. Let's do, I don't know, 10 rows, okay? So 1, and something screwed up. What screwed up? Did it pick up? I don't think this one picked up. So, hold on a sec here. I'm just going to... I don't know if I put it on later, whether it's going to actually catch and do it, but we'll see. That could be my boo-boo here. Okay, so this is 2. Will it catch? Ooh, looks like... Okay, so even though it skipped the first ring and the ring slipped off or whatever the case is, I put it on in the second row. It did catch, actually, so I'm really happy about that. But again, it's waist yarn, so I really don't care about it, basically. Okay, so basically 2, 3, 4... 9 and 10. All right. Well, the row counter is definitely working. I'm very happy with that. I like my slotted yarn mass. I like my slotted yarn carrier. Because again, if I wanted to, let's say, do some waist yarn to just try like a swatch gauge or whatever, I could basically undo all of this and then basically allow it to unwind, remove this and unwind and put it back onto my cones, right? So I don't have to worry about cutting it and then removing this and so on and so forth. So to me, I like it. It's not a necessity necessarily, but for me, I have no regrets of picking it up. So hopefully that helps you guys, and have yourself a great day.